Question 23. The type of nutrition exhibited when an organism lives on the body surface or inside the body of another type of organism is. So to answer this question, we need to have a very good understanding of the differences between the types of feeding, the different modes of feeding. So this is more or less a knowledge question. So let's look at option A. Option A says Holozoic. Holozoic actually is referring to a mode of nutrition that involves ingestion, which is taking in of food or nutrients into the body, and then digestion of that food. This is the kind of feeding you would have in quite a lot of animals. Option B says parasitic. Now, parasitic essentially describes a mode of feeding between two organisms whereby one benefits that is the parasite, while the other suffers a loss. And the one that suffers a loss is obviously the host. Saprophytic has to do with organisms like fungi or bacteria feeding on dead organic matter. And then finally, the carnivorous mode of feeding involves carnivores like dogs or tigers or lions feeding on flesh. So, which of these descriptions actually fits what we have in question 23? The type of nutrition exhibited when an organism lives on the surface or inside the body of another type of organism. So let's look at Holozoic. Holozoic is actually a general description for what really happens in animals. So it doesn't particularly narrow anything down. In fact, one could say that carnivorous feeding is a form of Holozoic nutrition. So this is not particularly capturing the provisions of this question. Then when we talk about parasitic mode of feeding, in parasitic mode of feeding, one benefits, that is the parasite, and then the other one suffers a loss, that is the host. Now, the question we would like to ask is, can this occur on the surface or inside an organism? And the answer is yes, because the tick that you find in your hair is a parasite. The tapeworm that you find living in your body is also a parasite. So this fits the description. What about the saprophytic mode of feeding? In the saprophytic mode of feeding, we are dealing with dead animals or dead plants. So that does not fit the description we are looking for. And for carnivores, like I said before, the carnivorous mode of feeding is an example of the Holozoic mode of feeding. And besides, how many carnivores do you know that operate from within the body? Carnivores essentially feed on their prey because many of them are predators, so they more or less feed from the outside. So the most likely answer is B.